In it to win it. Started thinking about this, and I lived in New York for a year after college and worked there with some friends, and I'd never been to New York until the day I moved there. I didn't know what to expect, but it is a rat race from the minute you leave your apartment, step on the sidewalk. If you're not at the corner by 8:05 to catch the number 6 train at 8:12 to get to Grand Central Station, so you can grab your cup of coffee and bagel from the cart outside your building and make it to your desk by 8:29 so that you don't get fired on a Monday. That's before you even picked up the phone and had to make 100 sales calls before lunch. And then if you didn't leave your office by 11:45, you might be the 17th person in line at the Euro stand outside your building. And if you were past the 15th person in line, you weren't going to be able to eat your entire Euro before you got back to your office. I mean, it is a competition every single moment. And then it's a race to see who can actually find a couple hours of sleep before, bam, Tuesday starts again. And if you're young, it is exciting. And if you've ever been to New York, it is one of the most energizing cities in the world. And it's the competition that really makes that place what it is. But I admit, you cannot stay there for a long time. It wears people out. And it's hard to keep up because guess what? Every day, another 1,000 people showed up ready to compete. And it's very, very competitive. But if you've never been there, you need to check it out because you can feel the excitement and energy. So ask yourself, are you always in it to win it? Down in the South, we kind of have a choice. Things move a little slower. We can relax some, which is good. But the great coach Vince Lombardi said that the difference between a successful person and others is not lack of strength, not lack of knowledge, but rather lack of will. And he also said that the only place success comes before work is where? In the dictionary. I don't know if you've read a lot of his quotes. Obviously, I look at a lot of sports and coaches, and because real estate is very similar to that, working as a team with your clients to reach a goal. And I want to ask you to think about this. If I'm new to town, if I'm a new agent, I just started in the business, and I don't have many skills, can I make up in time for what I lack in skills? If Frank closes 9 out of 10 sales that he goes on, and I only close 1 out of 10, can I beat Frank? Say yes. How can I beat Frank, Steve?
Make more calls.
Frank goes on 10 and he gets 9. That means I got to go on 100 and I'll get 10 and I'll beat Frank. How am I going to do that in 30 days? I'm probably only going to sleep 4 hours a day. I'm only going to eat 1 meal a day. And I'll beat Frank. How are you going to compete with someone who doesn't eat or doesn't sleep? It's hard. I'm going to die. And at 30 days, that's probably the limit. But I will have beaten Frank, and then I'm going to need a break. But think person, or what I would have learned in that 30 days and the skills I will develop, and now am I able to close 5, 6, 7 out of those 10 sales. So when thinking about competing, a lot of successful agents lack time that newer agents or agents that aren't as busy, they have a vast amount of time. So if you've got time and don't have the skill, you can make it up in the numbers. It's simply just a numbers game. And y'all have heard me talk about the thank you economy with Gary Vaynerchuk. He explains the thank you economy is there's only 2 things that will convince consumers to pay more for something when they could pay less. One is convenience, and the other is an outstanding customer experience. We all know that the information is out there. Now, don't leave the information to explain itself. Buyers and sellers can go online. They can pull up data on Zillow, the tax assessor's office. Don't let that information explain itself. Because if I send, say, a bouquet or vase of nice flowers, what's the most that those flowers will actually say? That I care? I'm thinking of you, and I remembered, right? So if I really want to make those flowers special, what do? Write a note. Tells her, you know, what she really means and how that makes me feel. But I at least got to send the flowers, right? I mean, you got to at least do that. That's the minimum. That's what people expect. So it's just sometimes a little something extra that makes a big difference. You don't want the flowers to do all of the talking for you. And again, think about it. It's really a privilege to have this opportunity to be in this business, to decide who you want to work with, how you want to work with them. Sometimes you get to decide when you want to work with them, not always. But whether it's a family member, a friend, a past client that already knows you, you gotta think and work as if up to the very end there is a chance that you could lose it. You know, don't take it for granted. It's a privilege. You go on a listing appointment to a past client, a family member, a very good friend. You've got to pretend as if you may not even get that. They want to know what you're all about. You can't assume that you're going to get it, because none of their commitments are guaranteed. And if you express sincere gratitude for that privilege, that will pay you dividends. So, get ready to get out there and compete, and I know that all of you are in it to win it because you were here today.